Being Watched. It's a Person of Interest recap show. This episode is an exciting one. As another player enters the arena, there's a mysterious hacker all throughout the episode organizing everything. All we know is she uses a woman's voice and has black nail polish. We don't even get a name until the end. Very mysterious. Very strange. Our number this week is Scott Powell, a family man, 2 kids, loving wife, but he's leaving the house every day to look for work. He's trying, but it's been 8 months and his funds are running low. He's feeling desperate. His job was limited because of some prick's austerity campaign, Delancey, and based on some weird post, he's mad. Scott's holding a bit of a grudge. They follow him around for a while, go on a stakeout and talk about what could have been a conventional life, not one where you are Shadow secretly spying on strangers because of the whims of an all-seeing machine god. But frankly, neither one of these guys would be good in a relationship, too many trust issues. Finch somehow turns a Pringles can into a Wi-Fi receiver? That's very impressive, Finch, although probably not that necessary. You are not that far from the home. Scott gets a call from the temp agency. He has a new opportunity tomorrow at the political rally, and he seems very excited about it. Finally, some work. Box Squad is putting 2 and 2 together and finding it pretty strange the job he took requires him hanging out in the rafters at an event hosted by the guy he's been shit-talking on the internet, and are very concerned Scott's going to shoot a man. John mantles up there to knock Scott over before he does anything, but the gun he's holding seems to be full of confetti, and then a shot rings out. There was a second shooter, or rather, a different shooter, but wouldn't you know it, Scott sure is caught by the spotlights in the exact wrong place. Everyone is extremely confused by this. John wants to know why the machine missed the obvious target. Finch insists the machine doesn't get fooled, which is pretty presumptive, and Scott is the real victim here. All those gamer moment posts about Delancey were planted. Someone orchestrated all of this to set Scott up. Carter is pissed because she just checked this guy and now he's deep in Fed custody. There's nothing she can do. And Scott himself is really confused. He swears he had nothing to do with any of this. He just took a job. His wife is probably terrified, especially since the FBI is already in his house going through his shit. And yeah, this would be terrifying. Having a hacker completely manufacture evidence against you and set you up to take the fall for an assassination, and it's about to get scarier. The boys are trying to figure out what's going on when Finch's tech announces a virus has been detected. He lets the Trojan poke around a little so he can track where it came from, but this is a terrible idea. He falls into a honeypot and gets his entire system hacked, which leads him having to pull the plug and abandon the library. He's compromised. Now he has to hang out in the university library, getting shushed by other students. This leaves John a bit stranded when he decides to ambush the car, moving Scott to a more secure location, gassing the van and dragging him out of there in a very tidy kidnapping. So tidy that the feds think John must have been hired by a terrorist group.
We believe he's part of an armed group, possibly terrorists.
He hides out with Scott in a motel room, just kind of in a holding pattern while Finch figures out a plan. With his information network down, he needs a specialist in this kind of thing, and he happens to know one. So do we. It's Zoe Morgan. Zoe's back, and she's here to help if she can. Finch leads her into a study room so they can have some privacy while they talk political assassinations. Unfortunately, the room is already occupied by Blake here, who has booked this study room so he has a place to make out with a babe. Finch handles the problem with money, giving him 50 to clear out, and our horny friend gets the wrong impression in a hilarious way.
Nice work, dude.
Love this guy. At least he's organized. We even see him a second time when Finch is still stuck in the library. He thinks Finch is a cool dude. Zoe Morgan is not surprised to hear there may be some nefarious plot. She's heard the scuttlebutt about Delancey and his douchebag campaign manager, and she's willing to offer her services to the campaign manager, Matheson, if only to verify her hunch and get close enough to pair his phone. Matheson, of course, immediately calls the hacker he hired to assassinate his boss to complain that shit was going sideways. She tells him that's his problem. Her plan was perfect. She's not even sure what's going on either, but she's going to find out. Scott is still being hunted by the shooter, who has made his mission to kill Scott. The mission isn't over until Scott has been murdered. Important part of the plan, the machine said someone wanted him dead, and that must be true, so this guy is breaking into their hotel room so John can wrestle with him and throw his ass off the balcony. It's not enough to stop him, so they have no choice but to duck onto the subway, where John finds the tracker in Scott's shoe. This hacker has thought of everything. Then Scott calls his wife, and I guess this is fine acting, very personal and heartfelt, But nowhere in this scene does John Reese assault a man, so I'm not interested. Oh, wait, it seems like the assassin is still stalking after that tracker. What's going to happen? Oh, John has lured him into a bathroom so they can have a bathroom fight, in which he punches a gun across the room, and then ends with John giving the man a concussion with that machine that blows air on your hands. Very funny. I think he's getting up after that, although we don't linger on his body. I don't know, I think they're just selling knockout here. I'm not counting it. Now that they are no longer being actively chased and the dominoes are falling on Matheson, Scott turns himself in and is eventually exonerated of the crime and returned to his family. And guess what? Someone at the city is giving him a job. I guess it all worked out after all, just kinda petered out really. And Matheson will not be a problem going forward, as he is found dead from apparent suicide in his apartment, having left a typed confession in a way that is just suspicious enough to make you think it's more cover-up stuff. The feds are also able to track down the hacker, but discover that she was operating out of a dorm room and had already slipped away without a trace. She does say a proper goodbye, hacking into Finch's computer to have a little chat, revealing she knows who Harold is, and possibly what he's up to, and she'll be seeing him later. You can call her Root. Boy oh boy, I like this introduction of the character, who I will spoil a little and say, she'll become a major concern in Season 2 and beyond. But we're still here in Season 1, where the best woman character is Zoe Morgan, who went out of her way to let John know she'd really like to get a drink sometime if he's not too busy. She's really happy to see him. He should take her up on that second date, but you know John, emotionally unavailable. Next episode is an old staple procedural plot, where our hero has to team up with a precocious black child. This one's really into anime and comics though, so that's a bit more exciting. John's a Ronin now. You are being watched.
You are being watched.